Hello, everybody. Welcome to Amazing You podcast and YouTube channels, the channels where stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope come to life. And in each episode, we dive into the inspiring journey of individuals who have faced the toughest challenges heads on and emerge victorious. Our aim is to be a beacon of inspiration, offering a guiding light to those navigating through difficult times. And whether you are dealing with health challenges, professional setbacks, or personal struggles, this channel is dedicated to uplifting your spirit and showing you that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to hope and triumph. So join us as we share powerful stories that transcend adversity, reminding you that resilience is a force within us all. So be prepared, everybody, to be inspired and to find the strength to navigate life challenges. So welcome to those who are new. I would like to say thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, for sharing and subscribing. And a huge thank you to all of you who have supported the channels for the past 4 years. Please continue to do so. You are very much appreciated for doing that. Thank you. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am your host, and I am a clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy method. I am a Mars Venus life and relationship coach, breathwork coach, tarot reader, and compassion practitioner. And today I am very excited to introduce you to my guest, to my very special guest. Her name is Noemi Beres. Noemi is the co-founder of Podcast Connections, a podcast booking agency that help entrepreneurs and experts share their knowledge, grow authority, and expand their business through meaningful podcast guesting. With a background in online marketing since 2007 and a master's degree in Danish Literature and Language, she brings her love of communication, organization, and connection to every client relationship. Very warm welcome, Noemi, to Amazing You.
Thank you so much, Rani. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. It is an honor to have you as well on the podcast, Noemi, since we talked last summer. And now that we are together, I am very, very excited to have this conversation and know more about your journey and your story. So let's get started with the first question. Are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Excited.
Okay. So Noemi, you have been an online marketing in that area since 2007. So can you tell the audience, how did that journey eventually lead you to become the co-founder of Podcast Connections?
Yes, that was a very interesting journey, as we all have as an entrepreneur. So I became an entrepreneur in 2007, as you said, and I was working in the online travel industry. I did a lot of social media marketing, online marketing, travel writing, blogging. I really enjoyed that part. But unfortunately, the pandemic happened and everything that was travel related basically stopped from one day to another in 2020 in March, as everybody remembers. And we just had to figure out to do something and to start a new business. And luckily, we had a mentor, an Irish friend, who helped us to basically start our podcast booking agency. And that was the story of it. And the funny thing is, Rani, that I didn't even listen to podcasts before 2020. I mean, it's not that popular in Europe. I mean, it still not is. I mean, I've been working with mostly with American clients, and I think the US is way ahead of us when it comes to podcasting and podcast guesting. So for me, it was brand new. And but I love learning. I think I'm a lifelong learner, and I had to learn everything quickly to start basically making money in 2020. So that's how it all started. Yeah, it was a very very scary time, but also exciting at the same time when everybody had to figure out what to do with themselves during the pandemic. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Noemi, for sharing that because I started my podcast in 2020 as well when the pandemic hit. So,
Yes. Like so many other people, like so many podcasts started in 2020. Yes.
yes, yes, it was really booming at that time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think because also people were more working from home, so they could listen more. They were searching for material, for things to listen that would uplift them at that time.
Yeah.
Being in staying within four walls, it wasn't easy. So I think having those podcasts have really been of great help to people around the world.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, Noemi, what do you think makes a podcast guest truly memorable to listeners?
That's a great question, and I love it. I think the most important thing is to be prepared. I think that's one of the most important things, to never wing a podcast intro. You always get prepared, always listen to an episode, and because it's just respectful to the host. I know that podcast hosts, they put so much time and energy into every single episode, and just like listening to one single episode before every interview where you are a guest on, I think that's a basic. And it's really important. And also to have those kind of topics and talking points ready, like in your mind. It's a free flow conversation. It usually is, but just to get ready for every single conversation and be open and being vulnerable. I think that's also a key, because the more open, the more vulnerable you are, the more authentic you are, and people will so much easier align with your message if you do that. And just treat a podcast interview as a normal conversation between two people, like as if we were having a tea or a cup of coffee together, sitting down and having that conversation. Because I think that's magical when people will just vibe and connect and share knowledge, share stories, and I think that's powerful, and that's how you can be a great guest.
That is so true, Noemi. Thank you for sharing that because I am a podcast host and I can tell you I put a lot of work
Yeah.
in the editing and all the background work before it is aired. There is so much work to be done
Yeah.
to make sure that everything is okay and it's on every platform. Yes, and it takes time, but it's very, very enjoyable, and it's very true. We have, because I speak on other podcasts too,
Yeah.
and I have to speak from my heart. I cannot pretend to be somebody else, but I have to speak from a place of authenticity to share my story, to share my journey. Yeah, and that's what will help the audience to align with the message and to be able to connect with what the guests are sharing. That's really, really valuable point, to be open and to be vulnerable in our sharing. Because it's very rare, I did have a few guests who were not willing to go to this deep shadow of their story. And I didn't say anything, but I know that they are still on that journey of working
Yes.
on themselves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And alongside of that, you do also very interesting things that you talk to me and you showed me, and they are behind you.
Yes.
And we cannot ignore that. We have to acknowledge that because it's a part of who you are.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So your collage, Noemi, they are inspired, like you told me, by Mediterranean life and memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you please share with us about the connection between the art and personal storytelling in your work?
Thank you for that question, because yes, I'm an artist and I'm also an entrepreneur, but like left brain, right brain, I'm both. Like we can be so many things in one personality, and I think that's also important. And yes, I'm a mixed media collage artist, and I was always a creative type since I was a teenager. And in 2012, when I was expecting my son, I decided to make collages, and I started with cut and paste collages, which was like paper on paper. But during the pandemic, again, it's like, these funny things happening. I kind of repurposed, recycled my old paintings and old creations. So I started to kind of sew my memories together on canvas. And I took these old photographs from my home country, from Hungary, like vintage photos, vintage postcards from my trips and travels across the globe, and textile, different yarn, old buttons, everything. And because it's funny, because in Cyprus, because of the humidity, you can't stick, like glue doesn't work. So what I realized, like, okay, so I have to sew things on a canvas. So that's how I started to make these mixed media collages. And it's kind of a diary of my life and all of my memories. And I'm sewing them together and showing it to the world. And hopefully one day I can have a solo exhibition based on these collages. I had a few group exhibitions before, but these ones are very special to me because they are really connected to my life and to my it's a homage to my Hungarian heritage too. So yeah, they are pretty special to me. And also it's a form of meditation for me when I do that, because it's really calming, soothing. And after a very busy week, during the weekend, I really enjoy making these collages. They really they bring me joy for sure.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because using our creative side of our brain, it's so important for us to connect back to our center, to realign, it helps us to realign to who we are. And that's where it gives us so much joy, because we do something that helps us to become even more creative. Once you start doing it, you find you become more creative.
Yeah.
You want to do more things, and that's beautiful that you have been able to bring into that your Hungarian heritage. And
Yeah.
and I saw some of your work much more closely. You showed me last time. It's beautiful, the work that you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and I hope you continue and you do have some exhibitions, and that would be wonderful to display your work even more. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
When you were talking, you were saying that you were from Hungary,
Yes.
but you live in Cyprus.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you move to this beautiful island of Cyprus from Hungary, Noemi?
Yeah, well, I always loved traveling, and it started when I was about 16.
Wow.
And so I was an exchange student, and I lived in Denmark for a year. I went to a Danish school, a Danish high school. I lived with a Danish family, and so that's everything goes back to there, because, oh my gosh, I just loved it, and I knew that this is my kind of destiny to discover different countries, different cultures. I'm a linguist by trade. So for me, just learning new languages always lifted me up. And after Denmark, went to university, finished the university, and ended up in Ireland. I got a job in Ireland for a few years before I became an entrepreneur, and lived in Ireland for 7 years, which was beautiful because, Irish people are amazing. And this, the sense of the Irish humor and everything is just so cool. And the history that Ireland has, it's a beautiful country. But there's a but, it's cold and rainy. And I always loved Mediterranean countries. So my dream was, which I kind of manifested when I was a teenager, to live in a Mediterranean country. So we basically picked a country that they do speak English very well. It's Mediterranean, not so far from Hungary. It's like 2.5-hour flight. So that was Cyprus, when Cyprus came into the picture, and I've been living here for 14 years now. So yeah, I really enjoy the lifestyle here. And now we can complain about the heat, not about the cold and the rain.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to see that you've traveled many places, and I agree with you that I've been to Ireland. It's very cold all year round. It's always raining and cold, but it's beautiful. It's
It
green
is.
and
It
it's very
is.
calming energy there. Yes.
Yes.
And what would you say to the audience who is listening today and who would like to know more about how what is the best how to choose how to manifest their dream if they do have if they I'm sure a lot of people are listening, they have dream in their heart, how they can manifest their dreams like you. Oh no.
Yeah, it was so funny because I had a conversation with one good friend, and she's kind of spiritual, and she told me, like, "Oh my gosh, you're a big, like, very strong manifester." Because I realized that, like, when I was about, I don't know, 14, 15, I was writing a story, but not a story, but basically I was journaling in my diary, and it wasn't like journaling back then. You just, you just, sharing your thoughts with your diary, and it was like, I want to live in Ireland because I love Ireland. It's such a beautiful country. And I found this diary in one of my drawers in my childhood room when I was actually living in Ireland. And I almost just started to cry. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't even remember writing this down. So it was kind of that manifestation started very early. And I know, like, manifestation is really popular right now, and we can manifest money and, whatever, car, parking space, everything. But I think, and then I'm doing it daily. So for me, it's kind of a practice that I always do. But I think the most important thing is what I learn about it. If there's no emotions behind manifestation, we can tell our affirmations during manifestation like 100 times, but you really have to align with your soul and body what you're wishing for. And if you, like, mentally and emotionally, if you're not there, you can manifest for 100 years and nothing will happen. Like, you really have to live that through, that something has already happened. It's done. It's already happening. And also I started doing some studies in like about the quantum field, and it's really fascinating that we can have like different realities in our lives and different manifestation routes. So it's so fascinating for me. And I think it just comes with practice, like with everything else, just to be consistent with it.
Thank you so much for sharing about manifestation, because at this time is such a great time in history of the world to because everybody is working more on themselves, the consciousness is rising, manifestation become even faster, so that's why we have to be so mindful of
Yeah.
how we think and what we think, because if we think something negative, it will happen because we create our own life. But if we think of something good on a consistent basis, it becomes true very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, and I hope this can be helpful for those who want to manifest their dreams. So please don't keep your dreams inside of you. Make sure
Yes.
before you leave this planet, you are able to fulfill your dreams. And you recently, Noemi, you mentioned that you launched silent thinking sessions.
Yes.
Can you tell us what inspired this project?
Yes, it was a really interesting project for me because I was trying to kind of find my purpose in this world for a very long time, and being an entrepreneur, it's a kind of a different story. How to help people, how to find purpose, and when I realized that what we miss from our lives, what I missed from my own life was silence. Because there's so much busyness, there's so much noise around us, there are too many distractions, social media, scrolling on social media. And I realized that we need a space which is non-judgmental, quiet, and you need someone to be with you, to have that kind of positive energy and effect on you, but being in complete silence with your own thoughts, and which is not therapy. This is not therapy. This is not meditation. I'm not a coach. I'm not a therapist. Just as quiet space holder, basically, to have a space for your thoughts. And just if we are honest with ourselves, we never have time to think, because do we schedule that in our calendar? That's like, okay, from 3 p.m. until 4, I'm going just sitting down in front of my desk and I'm going to do some thinking. And we usually don't do that. But I realized that is so important. And I also realized that I have so many friends suffering from anxiety, depression, PTSD all around the globe, in Europe, in the US. And which is, I know that like therapy and talk therapy is really important and it can help a lot of people with so many things. But there are in certain cases when talking always about your struggles and problems, it doesn't really help all the time. Sometimes just being with someone who there with you in this silent space can help you immensely to basically heal.
Oh, that's so beautifully said, Noemi. And that is so, so true. That what you said, that the power of silence, that's when healing can happen. Because I experience it, I've seen it with my clients. I do talk therapy, but I also allow them moment where they sit in silence with themselves and connect with the deep parts of themselves that are feeling pain. And that's when they can go inside and bring that healing to their own bodies. So healing is silence is such a powerful gift that we have ignored with so much noise around us. We have forgotten that gift of
Yeah,
silence. Yeah.
yes. And may I just add something? And because I know the silence is so important, and I know people who has like anxiety, depression, they always have trouble with sleeping. And I went through a rough time when I lost my dad to cancer in 2019, and then my grandma to an accident, same year, a few months later. So it was a lot going on. Plus, COVID started in 2020, lost the business. So I was really stressed and I couldn't sleep. And then I started to listen to these ASMR style podcasts when people reading different books, and you can fall asleep easier because it's very monotone, it's very soothing. So I decided to start my own podcast. It's called the Silent Thinking Podcast. And I'm reading basically books, and I have a YouTube channel, and people can tune in. They can subscribe and they can listen to episodes, like different chapters of books that I'm reading. And the funny thing is that ASMR podcasts, they usually only use books that are not copyright protected anymore, like classic, books. So what I did, I asked my friends who are authors too, that like, can I read your book and on my podcast? And of course I'm just so thankful to them, because they said, of course, like, go ahead and everything. So now I'm reading books that actually nobody heard before online, and I want to give them some support back to them and promote their books too, and also honor their books by reading them and helping people maybe to fall asleep and relax while they're listening to these books that I'm reading.
Wow, thank you for sharing about your podcast, because that is something really wonderful that you are doing, because you have benefited from it and you realize how it can help other people by them listening
Yeah,
to, because we don't have so much time for reading books nowadays.
true. Very true.
And you are giving the audience the opportunity by reading those chapters. So
Yeah.
that's really, really a great thing that you are doing. Yeah. Because so many people I talk to, they don't read anymore. They just listen.
No.
So
Yeah.
having your podcasts, I think it's going to benefit really a lot of people, Noemi.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and it brings me joy because I'm a bookworm. I love reading, like whatever, and listening to books, reading books. So like reading something, I just love it. So
Noemi, we are coming close to the end of this podcast, so I've got two last questions for you. So, if you could leave the audience today with one piece of advice, what would it be?
my motto in life was always just keep going, whatever happens, and take that kind of small steps approach. Like whatever you do, just do something, even if just 5 to 10 minutes, but never give up. Just try to keep going in life and business, and it will always bring you results.
Thank you. And my last question, Noemi, is where can our listeners connect with you, learn more about your work, or explore your programs?
Yes, you can visit our website if you are interested in podcast guesting. That's podcastconnections.co. And if you're interested in my silent thinking sessions, it's noemiberes.com. That's my name. And I'm also very active on LinkedIn. I love connecting with people. So you can find me there. If you type my name in, there's a tiny microphone sign next to my name, and you will find me there.
Noemi, thank you so much for sharing your links, and it will appear below, and anybody can reach out to you. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, Noemi, today. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to the audience, to share your wisdom, to share your knowledge with us. And I wish you a lot of success with your two podcasts and with your craft work as well. And I would like to tell the audience that remember that you are amazing. You have always been amazing. You always will be amazing. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Noemi. And take care, everyone. I'll see you all for a new episode soon. Bye-bye.